Oh, mm, mm. Yes, sir. It's just your boy today. It's just me today. One half of the Man to Man pod. My man Antoine Bethea is on vacay. Probably somewhere sipping mojitos right now. Knowing him babysitting a blue moon or something. Let me see. Do I want this mic in the shot or not? There we go. Hey man, so I kind of gave y'all the rundown on some things I'll be hitting on today. First and foremost, so I was actually gonna shoot this. Let me turn these comments on. Make sure the comments are on. People get in here. I was gonna record this. Well, actually, we weren't gonna shoot, and then I said I'm gonna record it. Then with some of the things going on today, I wanted some live feedback. So I said, you know what? We're gonna go live with it. So here we are. And this is gonna be, as always, if you listen to the pod, uncut, unfiltered, real, raw, however you want to cut it. You know, playing the game so long, you got to answer questions. Try to play certain shit close to the vest, or don't want to, whatever, whatever. But on this other side, on this media side, talking to this mic, a lot different, man. What's happening? Let a few more people jump in here. I can throw some questions in the chat. I'll touch on them throughout, but I really catch them most at the end, but even throughout, I kind of jump in, especially if it's relevant to the topics we hitting on today. Player accountability. Need to be coaches taking accountability as well. Oh, that's a good question. Before I even jump into it, Victoria House. What is my favorite book behind me? I'm gonna look in the camera and try to. Got to be one I read all the way through. Um, Force of Habit, really good one. So that camera messed me up. Force of Habit, really good one. It's another one I'm reading right now. Here you go, right here. Actually, you know what? Let me give you this one. This one right here. I'm not done with it yet, but The Way of the Superior Man, dope book, especially young men out there, young ladies out there, maybe looking for a partner. Get you right in all levels. But I feel like I got that question a couple times from you, Van. Me and Marla Mack, cool, former teammates, South Florida cat. We tap in here and there. But yeah, so back to it. So players taking accountability or not taking accountability. So you had well, that's the first thing we're gonna hit on. Then we're gonna hit on. I got a great question on the PFF podcast I did earlier this week. Um, he asked me, what, in my opinion, what makes a good D coordinator, what makes a good DC, OC, etc. And it kind of goes, and I'm just going to branch the question out a little more. What makes, in my opinion, a good coordinator, a good position coach, a good GM, a good owner, etc. Because a lot of those things kind of transferable skills. But I'm going to go into that, and then going to jump into some of my favorite weekend matchups that I'm looking forward to this week. Not only team matchups, but player, cornerback, wide receiver matchups. Been getting a lot of guys following some top tier wide receivers, some good matchups I'm looking for this week. But first things first, players taking accountability. Very, very important topic. Not only in the media, honestly, it doesn't matter as much, but within that locker room, in that locker room, like how you carry yourself, what you own up to, that's very, very important. And obviously, with all of us having a voice, having a platform, doing podcasts, posting, et cetera, you hear our voice outside of those respective locker rooms. So two people popped up to mind this week for obvious reasons. Paul George, he had an interview with on All the Smoke, and kind of went into some of the things that did and didn't happen with the Clippers. You know, in my opinion, it was a lot of passing the buck, not taking enough ownership. I mean, he didn't play up to par. And I was high on the Clippers. If any of y'all remember me going into the playoffs, I was high on Kawhi being the best player in the league. I was high on, PG being a great number two, both, on both ends of the court. Both of those cats being, hey, man, these are the best two-way players, on the same team. Woo. PG let me down. I was looking for playoff P. We got pandemic P or whatever they called him. And then for him to come out after the fact and say, oh, Doc didn't do this or this didn't happen or that didn't happen. That's weak to me. Take ownership. It is what it is. And if that is the case, if you want to point out that, oh, I was running off pin downs, I wasn't getting pick and rolls or ISOs or et cetera, bring that shit up during the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like you the top, you one of the top dogs on the team. You know what I mean? Y'all chasing the championship. Like use your voice at that point. Y'all up 3-1. Y'all want to change, okay, 3-2, 3, okay, like voice your opinion then. Don't wait till months later, hop on a podcast and say, hey, this, that, and the third, this how it went down. I got a major issue with that. Not that I hold any weight in the organization or anything like that, but if I'm a teammate, if I'm a potential free agent, if I'm a what, it's like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. We not trying to hear that shit. And I know some mutual people with Paul, and I think he's a solid dude. But that's the wrong way to go about it, man. Like, take ownership, bro. Take ownership first and foremost, and then talk about, hey, this is what we could have did better as a team. But like, nah, we not trying to hear that. And then on the flip side of it, you got Carson Wentz, who reportedly, took accountability in front of his team today. Volume low. Appreciate it. Who was that? Gold Miner James. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can pick up this volume. Should be fine though. Audio bum. Oh, better? Let me know if it's better. Let me get some feedback. Paul George overrated, just being not good. Okay, we good. Shah said we good. Let me get one more person say I'm good and we good. We rocking. All right, we good. Bet. All right, bet. So back to what I was saying. So on the flip side, you got Carson Wentz, right? So Carson Wentz reportedly stood in front of his team and took accountability, took ownership for, the bad play or, whatever. I respect that as a player. And it really only matters when you're a player as a professional athlete. It really, honestly, it only matters, number one, how you feel and how you think of yourself, first and foremost. Confidence is the number one thing when you're an athlete, period, but especially a professional athlete. You out there with the best of the best every week, every down, whether it's practice, games, every day. And then you're getting evaluated harshly, critically every day. So whatever job you work, just imagine that. Like, not only is somebody, watching, how productive you are at work, how many assignments you get done or don't get done, or et cetera, but every day we go sit in the meetings, we get walked through, we get hard coaching, we get, coached up from each other. If you're a good team, you got that type of relationship with your teammates. So that's number one, having that confidence in yourself, number one, and then having the confidence in each other and having that accountability towards each other in that building. Outside of the building, who cares? Who cares what people say? Who cares what people think? In today's day with social media and, everything being a clickbait or highlight or this or that, like, it can definitely get to your head and get in the building. When you saw the stuff with the Cowboys earlier, the coach is not making adjustments and we're not doing this. Bullshit, dog. You're a player. Y'all got to figure it out. You're a professional player. You are working with a professional coach. Y'all are both professionals. It needs to be a dialogue. It shouldn't be a coach coming in there just telling professional players getting paid more than a coach just what to do. Like, this is what I do. This is my livelihood. This is how I feed my kids, and how I perform affects how that coach feeds his kids and vice versa. So we grown ass men. It's not college. It's not high school. We getting paid big boy dollars to do, big boy jobs. So having that confidence and that trust in each other is major. And then so for him to stand up and take that accountability, that's cool. But as a player, as a teammate, just do what you got to do to play better. Period. And the coaches, do what you got to do to coach better. I see Doug Peterson saying that the play calling roles are that role is being shared now. I mean, somebody just needed to, like, Peterson, you're an offensive guy. Like, this should be right up your alley. So him not playing well, obviously the O-line's banged up, weapons are banged up. But, if you watch football, if you know football, you can also see that Carson Wentz isn't playing well. So as a quarterback, you probably get more praise than you should at times when things are going good, and you're gonna get more blame at times when things are going bad. That's just part of it. You know what I mean? That's why y'all get paid the big boy bucks. You know what I mean? So nobody gonna feel sorry for him. And Carson is really in a position that we all want to be in. Honestly, I know I would want to be in this position. Imagine being in a position where you're making so much money that they can't fire you. Like, I show up to my job, and no matter how good or bad I play, I know I make too much money, like, for y'all to fire me. If y'all cut me or whatever, like, I'm 59 against the cap. Like, just imagine that. So I could give a damn if I'm Carson, I give a damn what the coach is saying, not what the coach is saying, what the fans are saying, what the talking heads are saying. Y'all can have that. I know I'm good. I just got to focus on this football and get better and get the trust of my teammates. We got to figure this shit out, point blank, period. Because as bad as Carson is playing, as bad as the Eagles have been playing on offense, because I watching them against the Seahawks, especially, like, the defense looks solid. I mean, they're not a championship defense, but, I mean, decent defense, good players, get after it. So as an offense, you got to pick your shit up, point blank, period. You know what I mean? So you getting paid that much money, you just got to figure it out. If that was me, I'd be coming, hey, I just got to play better, man. I got to play better. And you just figure it out. So that's part of it. And I had a take or whatever the last podcast we had with AB. I said, okay, if he doesn't end up in Philly, is Indy a good spot for him because of Frank Wright relationship with him? Obviously, you got a better O-line in Indy. When the guys are healthy, next year. You come here real quick, baby. Next year, if you find a way to keep Matt, you have Mac Taylor back there, obviously Hines, you got weapons. You got a lot of weapons on that offensive side, and then you got a great defense. I think the Colts have a championship level defense. So that was just something I was throwing out there. Obviously, you get them in Indy, it'll be almost like a 1 year damn near franchise deal with Carson, if you can figure it out. And because I think he's talented. He's still talented as hell. Still one of the most talented quarterbacks that the more talented quarterback. I won't say most, one of the more talented quarterbacks that I've seen, but he just hasn't been playing well. So, yeah. So, yeah, anyway, that's that on that. That's my feelings on that, man. Just at the end of the day, we all got a job to get done. Just get it done, bro. Nobody want to hear excuses. My co-host Antoine Bethea said all the time, no excuses, no explanations. No excuse for the fans, the coaches, and your teammates. Just get that shit done, man. Moving on. Y'all throw some of these questions in here too. Come in. Moving on. Yeah, thank you. So we had the question. I got the question on the other day on look at my baby. My daughter just brought me some tea. Gotta show y'all my coffee mug. Just brought me some tea. You know what I'm saying? My throat been bothering me a little bit. But all right, so hold on, let me see. Let me answer this question real quick. Okay, hold on. All right, Spud the Fud. Hell no. I'd rather get Stafford for the Colts. If I had to choose between Stafford and Wentz, I'll be with you. I would be with you, especially if I plan on keeping T.Y. I plan on re-signing T.Y. or keeping T.Y. in the building. With the arm that Stafford has, that's how you get the best out of T.Y. Hilton. That's where you get the ghost. You got a quarterback that can stretch the field and really throw that ball, 60 yards down the field. That's when you put the fear of God in defenses when you're facing 13. You got a quarterback that can't do that. It's a lot easier to game plan for him. But so I can't go against you with that. spud the FUD, I go with Stafford over Wentz as well. But if I wasn't, it's definitely conversation. It got to be conversations going on in that Colts. It got to be either now or in the offseason. Like, hey, what do y'all think about this? Because you don't have a long-term answer at quarterback right now, right? You got Phillip on a 1-year deal for 25. You pay Jacoby, you got him. You obviously don't trust in him and believe in him to be the long-term answer. You drafted Eason. I don't think he's a starter in this league. So I mean, it's a conversation. I would take Stafford over Wentz, though. I respect that. What about a coaching change in Philly? Orlowski needs a shot. I mean, as much as Orlowski, and that's my guy. Me and Dan, we'll throw some jabs back and forth here and there on on Twitter or whatnot. But Dan O is my guy from, as we go all the way back to 2004 when I was a freshman on his scout team. Who Alan Randall made this comment, by the way. I was a freshman on the scout team at UConn, red shirting. That's how far me and Dan O go back when he was, the talk of the town at UConn. And he's doing great in media, great on TV. He breaks down the game, great in a form that the average fan can understand it. Great football mind. Obviously spent, 12, 13 years in the league, so he knows what the hell he's talking about. Regardless, and there's one thing, regardless of, how much a guy played or how many touchdowns he threw or how much whatever, like it's certain guys who okay, this guy could be a coach. This guy could be a front office guy, regardless of how he performed on the field as a player. And Dan is definitely one of those guys who can be a great coach, I believe. And if that's something that he wants to do, if that opportunity presents itself, I'm sure he'll handle that accordingly. But yeah, I don't know if the coaching change is gonna happen in Philly this year. So, I don't think Doug gets fired this year, but we'll see. But anyway, all right, let me move on. I'm gonna definitely get to these questions, but keep throwing them in. I'm gonna get to as much of these questions as possible. All right, next question. This from the PFF interview. Now they asked me what did it take to be a good D coordinator. I definitely get into that. But what does it take to be a good D coordinator, a coach, GM, even an owner? Let's see what it is. Yeah. All right. So to be a good coach, right? So people think, and I got the question asked to me. Let me check. Just a sec. All right. So a lot of people think being a good coach, being a good coordinator, etc., is all about the X's and O's, right? Everybody in the NFL has X and O. Everybody at high level Division I has good X and O's. Anybody can go and draw some shit up. I can go to my, little brother, and you watch enough football, you play enough Madden, you can draw some shit up. That's easy. Anybody on the NFL level can and has done that for a long time. I won't say relevant, but that's not in the top 3, I would say, what takes especially a good play caller. What makes I'll start with a coordinator. Now, let me start with a good position coach. So what takes with a good position to be a good position coach, you have to take what your coordinator, all right, this is the game plan. This is not even the game plan. This is what we do as a defense. This is who we are, right? Understanding how the team is built, what your strengths and weaknesses are personnel-wise, what you can and can't do. Some teams just have limitations because of your personnel, right? So understanding that as a position coach, like, okay, let me be on the same page as the D coordinator with those things. Okay, now I have my players, I have my cornerbacks, I have my safeties, I have my nickels, whatever, like my dimes. Okay, now how can I make whatever calls I get work the best? How can I coach these guys up within their techniques in the defense? So position coach, that's your job. Okay, whatever defense, whatever the game plan is, how you guys are running, it's your job to take that info straight from the coordinator straight to your room, your position room. And for the people that don't know, you have team meetings, and that's the entire team. They meet as a group. And then you have unit meetings where it's a defensive unit. It's only the defense in there. And then you have position group meetings, right? So we spend, I would say, probably the most time in position group meetings, right? You come in the morning, Wednesday morning, you have a team meeting, then you break up into unit meetings. Offense, defense, special teams have their meetings as well. And then you break up, and you have your unit meetings. And then after practices, you go and pretty much it's just, you probably have a quick unit where it's the whole defense, and then you break up into your position groups, right? So as a position coach, that's your job, working the different techniques day to day in the defense, right? The intricacies, the fundamentals, et cetera, et cetera. As a coordinator, you got to be tapped in with every position group coach, right? With every position coach, my DB coach, and maybe some DB groups may have a safeties coach and a corners coach. And I was talking with Gerard Powers in the slot defender series, and he said in Chicago years ago, they had a nickelback coach. Nickelbacks, when I was playing, were barely really coached as nickelbacks, right? So anyway, you got that group, then you got your linebackers. And then some teams, your 3-4 team, you got your outside linebackers coach. And then you got your D-line coach, right? So you got all those coaches. So as a coordinator, you got to make sure you're delivering the same clear, concise message to all of those position coaches. And all of y'all are on the same page, teaching the same things, the same techniques, the same fundamentals. Because as you know, coaches move around from team to team. Things change. So you got to make sure, hey, this is the way that we do it here in Indianapolis, Miami, Seattle, where this is the way we do it here. Make sure everybody's on the same page. And then as a coordinator, you also have to know when to, I guess, when to kind of adjust, right? Because coordinators, they have their ways, and coaches are very, they got an ego. It's a lot of type A personalities in locker rooms, right? So you have to drop your ego enough to say, okay, I know what I do. I know what I've always done. I know what I'm good at. I know why I got this job, but these are the quote unquote groceries I have, right? So I got to make this meal. These are the players that I have. So yeah, I've always done things a certain way, but Andy Reid, for instance, okay, I had Donovan McNabb. Now I got Michael Vick. So some of my things have to change. Stick with Andy Reid. So now I'm going from Donovan McNabb to who was Kevin Kolb to Michael Vick, and now I got Patrick Mahomes, and I got Tyreek Hill, and I got now you're gonna see some shit I've never done before because I got different groceries now. So D coordinator is the same thing on defense. So knowing how to work with your personnel to fit your scheme, right? Not trying to force a square peg into a circle. I wouldn't say that's what Mike Nolan is doing, but you could just tell the communication from the top to the bottom wasn't streamlined, okay? So as a coordinator, knowing that, number one, okay, how am I going to make this scheme? How am I going to coach this scheme? And then now, obviously, you're play calling. Now, play calling is knowing the situation. Because as a D coordinator, the only information I have in a game before I make my play call is what's the field position, what's the down and distance, and what is the offensive personnel in the huddle, right? I don't know the formation. What's the personnel in the huddle? Like who's in the game, the down and distance, the field position. Obviously the time, the scoring, all that stuff. That's the only information you know. So now you have to empower your players and your position coaches enough. Like you have to, the information got to be so clear and concise that I can pass the same information, as much knowledge as I have. I can pass that to my position coaches and they can pass that down to their players, right? Because I told you all the information I have as a coordinator. So when I send that play call in, and as a player, I'm on the field. Okay, now I got to take that play call and I got to say, okay, I know the play call, but now this is the formation that I have, right? This is the offensive formation in front of me. The D coordinator didn't know what the formation was going to be. The D coordinator didn't know Chase Claypool is going to be lined up as, the number 3, and the running back is going to be lined up as the number 1 wide receiver, like way out by the sideline across from the corner. And Claypool's going to be lined up at 3 as a linebacker matched up against a linebacker. I'll go way back to that Steelers-Eagles game with that last touchdown that won the game. That was a matchup. D coordinator didn't know that was going to happen. TJ Watt, when he was matched up on CeeDee Lamb, he didn't know CeeDee Lamb was going to be lined up at that position in a bunch. And TJ Watt's going to be in the seam flat and he's going to end up on him. You know what I mean? So you got to know, you got to empower your players not only to know the plays, but know how to make adjustments within the plays. And then as a head coach, you got to be able to manage both coordinators and whichever side of the ball you know, if you're an offensive guy, if you're a defensive guy, obviously you're going to lean more that way and have more understanding and probably give more leeway to the offensive or defensive guys to do their thing. But you got to manage personalities. You got to manage, you know, your schedule, like the walkthroughs. Okay, are we going to practice with pass on a day? Or this guy that's injured, are we going to put him on a practice schedule to maintain him so that he can last throughout the season? We're going to rest him on Wednesdays. We're going to do et cetera. That's the job as a head coach. And then obviously managing situations, knowing situations, time when to go for two, when to challenge, build all these different things, right? And giving your team as much information as possible to know, like good coaches, hey, these are the refs we got this week. This is what they do. They're in the middle of the pack when it comes to holding calls. They lead the league when it comes to pass interference, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes down the line. So that's the stuff you're doing as a head coach. And then as a GM, your GM is the one guy that's in the building. He's the conduit between the front office people, because that side of the building is a completely different ball game. Like a lot of those guys, honestly, don't even really know football for real. These are business guys or the team owner, or, you know, you may have, you know, analytics guys, you may have, you know, whatever this department. The GM, he connects the front office to the locker room, you know, front office, head coach, locker room. Like the GM is right in between all that kind of maneuver and all that. And the things that I've noticed in being around different GMs, the GMs that have an understanding of the locker room, like been a player, been a coach, you know, not only are they successful, but they just manage teams better. Like the Ozzie Newsomes, obviously was a great player. See John Lynch doing some great things in San Fran. Chris Ballard in Indy has been outstanding. He was a player. He was a coach on the college level before he ever got in the front office. So like those help you tremendously when it comes to actually running the team, because it's not just about numbers and X and O's and analytics and rating or stats or this and that. Even just wins, losses, you got to understand what type of personalities can fit in this locker room. What type of, you know, like what type of guys should I pay that would boost the morale of a locker room? You know what I mean? Some guys that get like a Kenny Moore when he got paid in Indy, when he got paid early, that's going to boost the morale of a locker room, because it's like, okay, y'all are going to reward the guy that's been here and, you know, fought his way to the top and did it right. I see he got paid, so now I'm a guy in the same position. I'm going to work my ass off, bust my ass to do the same thing, because I see that's what's taking place here. Now, if you're one of those GMs that come in and you just go paying top dollar for a bunch of guys that was just at your old team or at another, or he's a guy who, you know, got all the media hype and you just paying him, because these GMs, these guys running these teams, they don't know as much football as people think they do. They're not as informed as people think they are. I've heard people literally tell me, like GMs, personnel guys, coaches, yeah, I signed a guy. I watched like legit 2 games of a guy and I signed him for 3-4 years, tens of millions of dollars. Yeah, I know him, but you got to really know how guys fit. Do your research on guys. Okay, you know, ask the right questions. So that GM is very, very important. As an owner, when you're in that position, you just have to be able to you got to be able to manage personalities as well, because like I said, it's a lot of type A personalities in the building. So we had a situation in Indy where you had Grigson and you had Chuck, and you know, they weren't on the same page, and it wasn't a secret. You know what I mean? Like the players see it, the people that's working in the building see it. So as an owner, you got to be able to make those right calls. Maybe sit this person down, have this conversation, or empower this person this much to do that or this, because every team run their situation a little different. The GM may have a little more or less power here. The head coach may have a little more or less power here. The GM or the coach, like maybe you never see this guy in the locker room, and you never see him, you know, here. He never talks to players, or he never does this. And then the other guy, he's always talking to players. They have a different relationship. It's just completely different. So your team, the team that you own, I believe at least is your job to make sure that those people that are calling the shots and those people that are running your team are on the same page. First and foremost, they're on the same page, because you're like, it's almost like siblings in a sense. Like, in some teams, the coach, I feel like, maybe has more power than the GM, and some teams is switch. So and then knowing when to allow a guy like a Bill Belichick to wear both hats. You know what I mean? Like Kraft, he didn't like, when I was in New England, it was kind of like, if you saw Belichick and Kraft interact and, like, just blindly, you just heard them interact or watched them interact, you wouldn't know who was the quote unquote boss. You know what I mean? Because Kraft empowered Belichick, that he empowers him that much to have to run his operation pretty much. So yeah, that's really that on that. Definitely not going. Van, I see you talking about give us a good Pagano Grigson story. I won't give you a good story, but like I said, it's just very important that those guys are on the same page, and they don't have to love each other. But in locker rooms, we don't like, all of us don't like each other like that. You know what I mean? It's a work environment, and obviously you have relationships within the locker room, within teams that you build. But every guy doesn't just love every other 50 whatever guy on the team, but y'all there for a common goal. And when you do have common suffering, there is just and when you're in that foxhole, like, I got your back, you got my back. We could just be fighting. I may not like this dude at all, or like what he's standing for off the field, but if we on that field and you go after him, I got to come after you. That's just that. It's like when you in a bar fight with a teammate or something. Once that pops off, like, you in it. You figure out the details later. But yeah, it's a work environment, but you got to manage that environment, man. A lot of testosterone, a lot of egos, a lot of quote unquote alphas in the same building every day. And it's a tough job, but that's why you get paid the big bucks, right? I know I'm retired. I still ain't. I ain't built like that, cuz, you know what I mean. Can't be telling you the story. I answered a couple of these questions. Yes. Hamilton 1787. Egos come into play more than people. I don't think that should surprise people, though. You know what I mean? Egos are everywhere. Egos are in everybody's job, and everybody, when somebody gets a title or position. So you can just imagine on that level, what the egos are. But let me answer a couple more of these questions. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. Best coach, Alan Randall, best coach I ever had in the NFL. I mean, I started off with Belichick. It was hard to get better than that. In my opinion, he's the GOAT. Yeah, just his attention to detail. And like I said, I'm sorry about that. The conversation I had earlier, well, not the conversation, me talking about it earlier, about how important it is for the GM and the head coach and the owner all to be on the same page. Belichick he wore both hats, GM and head coach. Sometimes even the defensive coordinator. So obviously he's always going to be on the same page. So it was always a very, very clear message from the top to the bottom. And that's what really it comes down to. Culture is really all about, it's really driven by communication, right? That's where culture comes from. Culture is driven by communication and really just, I guess, ownership. You know what I mean? Ownership of just doing your job, taking accountability, like, do your job. That's always been a mantra. Do your job. Don't make excuses. Speak for yourself. Manage your expectations. Ignore the noise outside the building. Those were constant, clear messages from the top to the bottom, and knowing absolutely every detail about the game plan and what's going on in this game, what to anticipate from this game, knowing your opponent. And Belichick checked people like I didn't see on any other team. Like, when you walked into that meeting room, you better be on point, because you can't get called out. Hey, Darius, we're playing, and in the NFL, we do numbers, right? So because every week we're playing different names. So we'll say, all right, you got 13 this week. 13 is their slot defender. What would you say? Like, is his strength? Is he quicker than fast? Is he faster than quick? Shit, coach, I think he's faster than quick. Okay, that's it. That's weird. You know, he ran a 4.68 at the combine, but you know, he does have great short area quickness. So obviously you haven't been watching film. You know what I mean? So that next time you come in that meeting, yeah, it's gonna be on point. So Bill, hands down, best coach in the NFL that I've had. I would just say overall. Honestly, will Steelers go undefeated? No, I do not believe they'll go undefeated. 11-0 right now, though. Great team. But no, I don't think they go undefeated. I'm gonna take one more question before I move on. Boop, 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 boop. I'm not sure how. I saw somebody. They said chill with the Caps. Yeah, I saw one more question. What was a good question I had, man? And why y'all, hey, like the stream, do all that stuff. Y'all know I'm new to all this stuff, but like the stream, like, subscribe, all that good shit. What is this? Why is the NFL so far behind the NBA? I see stories all the time about former players getting high. Far behind the NBA in what sense? I mean, I don't know if you mean. I think the NBA has stopped. I mean, NFL. I don't think they said they'll be suspending anymore because of weed. And honestly, I'm a proponent for marijuana, for cannabis, weed, whatever you want to call it. You know, I smoked the last few years of my career, and it helped me deal with pain. It helped me sleep. It helped me with my appetite. Because I'm a guy that's during the season, you know, especially when I'm tired or overworked or whatever. Like, it's hard for me to build up appetite. So it helped me with different things. And I hated taking pharmaceuticals. I always have. And the thing about probably not just the NFL, but you know, other major sports league, like just America in general, probably the world in general, like we're just overly medicated, overly with the big farm. You go in there and say you got, you know, a headache or this or that. You know, you get back to your locker and you got, you know, a prescription for whatever you pretty much request. So I never wanted to deal with that. I had some people in my family, like I'm sure we all do, who have, you know, addictive personalities and stuff like that. So I never wanted to get into it. Now, when I had surgeries and shit like that, and I had to, you know, take some Vicodin, take some perks, take some whatever, you know, I did what I had to do. Or going into a game, sometime I had to get an injection, or, you know, had to, you know, fresh out of surgery, got to wrap up my hand and play with a cast on, you know, with your, you know, your finger, your bone or whatever still shattered, but being held together by some metal plates and screws. But shit, I got to get out there and play. So do what you got to do to get out there and play. And that's just how we wire. You only got 16 games in the NFL. You're trying to be out there for all of them. So I feel like it should, you know, weed should definitely be allowed. CBD should definitely be allowed. For sure. I mean, it's been proven and that it works. And the side effects of the pharmaceuticals and all that shit, I was never a fan of. I always searched out natural remedies, and it wasn't definitely not always weed, or sometimes some things didn't have THC in it, but you know, it helped relieve pain, it helped manage pain, it helped manage other things. You know, some people deal with this anxiety and all type of shit, man. So whatever works for you. I don't think it should be illegal. I definitely don't think you should be suspended for it. But you know, it'll definitely gradually change. I think we'll definitely get there sooner than later, not only in the sports world, but just in general. But yeah, that's my take on that. But if I get to the rest of them questions later. All right, weekend. This week, matter of fact, let me give my power rankings too, real quick, 1 through 5. I usually don't do power rankings, right? But PFF on their interview, once again, they asked me to, and they kind of caught me off guard with it. All right, give me your power rankings. So I'm gonna just throw them to you right now. I want y'all to throw a couple in here too. I want to see what y'all think. But I'm gonna go with, obviously, number 1, Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champs. Gonna be tough to stop them on offense. You know, the defense, like last year, I think they'll pick it up towards the end, going into the playoffs. Andy Reid, once again, great play caller, great coordinator. Obviously, Eric Bieniemy, great play caller, and great coach. I posted a tweet a couple of weeks ago. I was like, man, if I'm a head coach, I'm doing 2-minute drill every day in my practice because I want my team to be prepared. I want my coaches and my play callers to be prepared for these situations. Because almost every good game in the NFL, you watch the NFL this Sunday, most games come down to a 2-minute stop or a 2-minute score. 2-minute drive to score a touchdown, a 2-minute drive to stop and try to get off the field. So that's a very, very crucial part of the game. So I tweeted that, and Todd Matthew, Honey Badger, hit me back like, hey, that's what we do over here with Big Red. And watching them, you can kind of see that when they get into a 2-minute drive on offense, like it doesn't look like a panic. It looks like a very, very smooth operation, like they've been there 1,000 times. And obviously, you got the talented players that they have, the talented play callers that they have. So they're going to be tough to beat in close games, and that's what it comes down to. They were down 10 points in the second half in the Super Bowl, came back and won it. So Chiefs number 1, Steelers obviously undefeated. I don't care about the strength of schedule, who they play, how close the games were. It's hard as hell to win week in and week out in NFL. And the Steelers have done it every week. I'm a huge fan of Mike T. Slept on coach, one of the best coaches of all time, 14 seasons, no losing seasons, Super Bowl champ. Went 8, and I think this should be at the top of his bio. He went 8-8 last year with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph as his quarterback. So definitely rolling with the Steelers at 2. And if they get matched up in the AFC Championship, a lot of people just saying the Chiefs are just, if they get matched up, I mean, I don't know who I'm going with in that game, but the Steelers definitely can beat the Chiefs, in my opinion. Number 3, I like the Seahawks. I like Russ a lot. I like those weapons that they have on offense, especially when the backs are healthy. And defense has been really, really bad this year, but they're getting better. You got Griffin back healthy out there at the corner position. Dunbar should be back. It's time for that playoff run. You got Carlos Dunlap. That trade has been working wonders for him. I think 16 pressures already in 4 weeks. Is already more than what he had in Cincy before coming over. I kind of called that one too, him going to the Seahawks and making a difference, getting a fresh start. I like him and Jamal Adams back healthy. And we saw the last game, even though it was against Philly, but you saw Jamal playing. He was playing some good ball. He's doing what he does. And you can always look at a guy and say what he can't do. But what Jamal Adams does is he changes the game. You put him around that line of scrimmage, he can blitz. He can disrupt the hell out of a run game. He's just a weapon. I wouldn't even call him a safety. He's just a defensive weapon. I like him, and I like the Seahawks. I like Russ. Like him a lot. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But because of Aaron Rodgers, the defense, leaves you a lot to be desired. But I'm taking Aaron Rodgers right now in the rhythm that he's in. Going to be a tough team to beat. And then you got the Saints. I like the Saints on defense. Yes, Chris R., you jumped in here and said some trash play calling in Seattle sometimes. I agree 1,000%. Still in the regular season, though, I think they'll continue to get better. I like how Russ has been playing, how he's been handling things for most of this year. Went through a little stretch, was having turnovers and shit like that. But I think he's back on point. But so we got 1 Chiefs, 2 Steelers, 3 Seahawks, 4 Packers. And then 5, I got the Saints. And the only reason they're at 5 is obviously because of the quarterback situation. I personally don't think Taysom Hill can, if Breeze, I expect Breeze to be back come playoff time, but I think pretty soon defenses figure out the book on Taysom Hill and they'll be able to. You already saw it last week. He struggled more than, the first week he got in there, he balled. As a defense, you don't really know what the guy can do. Are they going to be a bunch of wildcat? Are they going to do a bunch of short passes, screens? Or are they really going to try to run some real NFL offense, which they did. After that, I came on the pod and I said, hey, once defenders and defensive coaches get that book on Hill, it's going to get ugly. And he struggled a little bit more last week. The defense is playing well. They struggled and went kind of up and down earlier in the season. They continue to play well, which they should. They have the talent. They have the experience, so they can definitely be a lights-out championship-level defense. If they get good quarterback play, they can definitely make a run for that Super Bowl. So I'm around them out at 5 right now. That's my top 5. I'm definitely interested to see some of y'all's and what y'all think. Sip a sip, sip. Ah, good tea. So that's my Jake. Who we got right here? Boom. I'm gonna throw a couple of y'all's up here real quick before I move on. We got about 15 more minutes. JK Chiefs 1, Steelers 2, Saints 3, Seahawks 4, Bills 5. Okay, like that. Good with that. Whose phone is that? What's this phone? That's a good list. That's a good list. 5 can be Packers, Titans, Bills. I ain't believing in the Titans. I ain't gonna lie to you. I am not a believer in the Titans right now. But yeah. Solid fives. All right, some good matchups I'm looking forward to this week. 1 through 4 solid though. I respect that. Hamilton 1787. All right, some matchups I'm looking forward to this week. The Rams and Cardinals. Obviously, I think both be playoff teams. It's gonna be tough. They're fighting for that division. Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks. Obviously, I think Seahawks end up taking the division, but could very well have 3 teams in the playoffs from that division. I'm looking for, obviously, this game will be important when it comes to that. I'm taking the Rams in this one, and I think they're 3-point. Is this? Let me make sure this is the right game. Yeah, I think they're 3-point favorite in this one too. So definitely rolling with the Rams in this one. Let me make sure I'm on point. Yeah. Rolling with the Rams in this one. Love the defense. Love what Bob Staley's been doing all year with the defense. Still, jury's still kind of out on Goff, man. I really don't know who he is as a quarterback. As soon as I'm ready to write him off, he comes back and have a good game. And I don't know, man, but I love their defense. I love their receivers with Kupp and Woods. So I mean, I'm taking them this week for sure over the Cardinals, but definitely looking forward to that game. Looking forward to that cornerback receiver matchup with D Hop and Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey has been playing like a $20 million a year cornerback, and D Hop has been playing like a $20 million a year receiver. This year. So I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup. Obviously, they're very, very familiar with each other. Played against each other a lot in previous years. They came into the league in the same division, the AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Texans, and now they're back in the same division with the Rams and the Cardinals. So I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup. Another matchup I'm looking forward to. We just talked about the Saints and the Falcons. Looking forward to that one. Falcons coming off a big win. I'm taking the Falcons in that game. I'm taking the Falcons to win that game. I think they're going to have much better quarterback play. I like the Saints defense, but the Falcons, their record is terrible, and you are what your record is ultimately. But I think they've been a much better team, since Morris took over. Since the firing of the GM and the head coach. Raheem Morris took over, and I think he should be a serious candidate to fill that position permanently. Guys are playing better. Winning or losing, they've been in a lot of games. Raiders came in there, who was a good team. A lot of people felt like that the Raiders were a very good team. Had just took the Chiefs to the wire before they played the Falcons, and the Falcons whooped their ass. So you never know what you're gonna get the Falcons, but I'm taking them this week. I know a lot of people on here probably are not. Hold on. Let me stop this camera real quick. 2 seconds. Slight brief intermission. A slight brief intermission. back. Oh, no, man. But yeah, we still rolling. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. I'll go to this one for now. Nah, no, I'm not. Be 2 minutes, guys. 2 freaking minutes, bro. What the heck, bro? Come on, Sony, man. 2020. Gotta blame everything on 2020. All right, there we go. We back, baby. We back, baby. Back to sorry about that. But yeah, taking the Falcons over the Saints this week. Like I said, I know a lot of people not gonna be with me, understandably so. What's the spread on that game? Falcons, Saints. Falcons, Saints, New Orleans favorite by 2.5 points. Yeah, so Vegas ain't that confident either. Yeah, I'm going to Falcons, man. Rock with me. Next matchup, I'm looking forward to Philly and Green Bay. Philly and Green Bay, big spread there. I think 8.5 is a spread on that game. Honestly, as bad as Philly looked last week against the Seahawks, I mean, what was it? They only lost by 5.5, or no, they lost by 6. I forgot about that. Woo, I forgot about that bad beat. Lost by 6. So they're 8.5 point dogs this week against the Packers. I'm going back and forth on that. I think the Packers will win the game, but I'm not sure the Packers cover that spread. It is at Lambeau, but we're gonna see on that one. But I'm definitely looking forward to those matchups, man. I'm looking forward. That's another cornerback receiver matchup I'm looking forward to with Darius Slay matched up on Davante Adams. Obviously, once again, very familiar with each other. Slay spent a lot of time in Detroit. Adams obviously been in Green Bay his whole career, so they've seen each other a lot. I'm interested to see how Slay bounces back. Obviously, DK Metcalf got the better of him. And I'm gonna touch on something real quick too. I ain't like how D Hall and James Jones was taking those shots at my dog, man. Slay, like I said, he took the L in the game. That's what happens, man. You matched up against the best, the best players in the world. You're gonna lose some. But Slay throughout his career has definitely won a lot more than he's lost. And they were saying shit like, "Oh, he was scared of him, or he was this, or he was that." That was bullshit, man. Real bullshit right there. And I respect D Hall, respect James Jones, but that was some bullshit for real. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. D Slay versus Davante Adams. I'm also looking forward to, those are the matchups I'm looking forward to game-wise. These are the DB wide receiver matchups I'm looking forward to. Talked about D-Hop, Jalen Ramsey, Davante Adams, Slay. Got Keenan Allen and possibly Stephon Gilmore. I know Keenan Allen plays a lot in that slot. We'll see if Gilmore follow him around the field. Gilmore, obviously the defending defensive player of the year. Hasn't had quite the year that he had last year, but still a very, very good cornerback in this league. Top tier. Keenan Allen has been tremendous this year. Justin Herbert, his quarterback, has been phenomenal this year. Like, man, rookie of the year, my offensive rookie of the year for sure, in my opinion. But looking forward to that matchup, man. Two really, really, really good pros. And then DK Metcalf and possibly Bradbury following him around. Bradbury quietly, because he's playing for the Giants this year and they're struggling, even though they are in the driver's seat damn near in that division. If there is a driver's seat in the NFC East, Bradbury, I want to see him following around DK. And DK is, he's faced a lot of number ones this year. He's faced, Slade, Peterson, Gilmore, Jalen Ramsey. A lot of guys have been following DK Metcalf. He is He's definitely, I think, right now in the NFL, a top 5 receiver, top 3 to 5 receiver. So I'm interested, very, very interested to see that matchup as well, man. Very, very. Nah, Van, it wasn't smoke time. All right, let me hit these questions now, man. Let me hit these questions now. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll all the way up, try to catch some ones from earlier. Fly through some of them. Rashad 813. Shout out to Tampa. How do you think Josh Gordon would do? Josh Gordon, man, I just I just hope he keep his head on straight, man. I hope the situation is right for him out there. But I mean, talent-wise, obviously, talent out of the wazoo. He's had, a bunch of chances. You don't get that many chances unless you are supremely talented, which he is. So if he gets thrown into that mix with DK, Lockett, Russell, and Carson, oh, man, I could get ugly. So, I definitely hope he does well. Obviously, his athletic ability, has it. So I'm looking forward to it. Van Albright and all these caps. What percentage of the league smoke weed? Hey, man. Got nothing for you, Car. Got nothing for you, Guzzy. But I mean, it's probably close to the percentage of adults that smoke weed that don't get, because we get tested. But if you fell in NFL even before they changed it, when I was in the league, if you fell in NFL street drug tests, so it's two different types of tests you take in NFL. You take the PED test, which can be random at any time, and then you take the street drug test. And street drug tests, when those are coming, pretty much, not like to the date, to the week or anything like that, but the time frames that they're coming, right? So when you report back to OTAs, that's the first window of testing. When you report, if you don't get tested in that block, when you come back for the mandatory mini camps, that's another window of testing. If you don't get tested, then you got a 5-6 week break. You come back and you report at the end of July, typically for training camp. And if you haven't been tested already, that's when you're going to be tested. So, going into it, this is a testing period. Let me put the blunt down until I get my test. And once you get your test, you good for another year. So if you fail a street drug test in the NFL, you probably got a problem. So you get put in a program, but then once you're in the program, you can be tested up to 16 times a year or something crazy like that. So stay the hell out of the program, young fellas. And use it responsibly. But what else we got? What else we got? Got about 10 more minutes. Zach Taylor. I think Letty Vasque. What about Zach Taylor? I think Zach, it's still early on. You just got the number 1 overall pick with Burrow. Obviously, hopefully he gets healthy. But you got to build up that team. You got to protect Joe Burrow first and foremost. But I think Zach is a good play caller, good coach. We'll see how he manages and coaches, grown ass men. That's always something new. That's always a tough job. So we'll see how he does. But I don't think he should be fired this year. I saw some people saying Zach Taylor should be fired already. I give a coach a good 2, maybe 3 years, unless he's just, just straight bombing it. But yeah, Zach Taylor's solid. What else we got? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, man, I want some good questions, man. Some good questions. Boom. Tom_Austin10. What do the Browns, specifically Baker, need to do to beat Tennessee? Man, run the damn ball well, like they've been doing. They run. Myles Garrett will be back. Still going to be missing Denzel Ward, but Myles Garrett will be back, who was, in my opinion, it should have been in the MVP race, Defensive Player of the Year race, with how he plays, how he affects the game on defense for everybody, not just the pass rush. So play good defense, run the damn ball. Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, is not the long-term answer. I know Andrew Berry well, the GM there. Worked with him in the Colts. He's done a phenomenal job as a first-year GM. So has Kevin Stefanski as a first-year coach. But in my opinion, I don't think Baker Mayfield, from what I've seen so far in his career, outside of his rookie year, he doesn't look like the long-term answer for the Browns at the quarterback position. Obviously not my decision to make, but running down ball, you got two of the best, probably top 10 running backs individually in the league. Chubb, probably a top 3 or 4 guy. And Kareem Hunt is probably in that top 8 to 10. So you got two of the best running backs in the game running down ball. So that's what they need to do and convert on third downs. Tennessee's terrible on third downs, defensive wise. So do that, you got a good shot. But go ahead and please beat those Titans for my Colts. Appreciate that. What else we got? Jonathan, one of our loyal listeners. Darius, I read earlier today Deshaun Watson has an active streak of 210 consecutive passes without an interception. Impressive, huh? And does he snap that streak against the Colts Sunday? I say yes. He had a streak. Will Fuller will be out of there. He's suspended for the last 6 games. His top target, obviously, I believe Will Fuller's last game, he probably went for like 170 plus 2 tugs. And he'll be missing his top target, obviously a big target. The rest of that Houston roster outside of Deshaun, Fuller, Watt. You got some other playmakers over there. Cunningham's really, really good. Reed's good. You got some good players over there. But as a team, as a unit, obviously with an interim coach, with Cornell right now, not very good as a team. I think the Colts get this win. And I definitely think the Colts find a way to get one. We got at least one. We're going to get one off D-Watt. Very, very impressive streak, though. And D. Watson, he shows why wins shouldn't be a quarterback stat because he's been playing phenomenal this year. But obviously the record does not show that. Do. All right. Why does nobody give? Dave, TDDAV 87. His question is, why does nobody give Xavier Howard any love? All pro for sure. I got kids here. We doing the distance learning thing. So why doesn't anybody give? Whatever. I know what the hell you meant. Why doesn't X Howard get as much love? I don't know, man. He should. His passer rating when attacked on defense is very, very good as a defender, and he got 7 picks now. Seems like every game he gets one. He should definitely be getting more love, similar to the love that Gilmore got last year. I'm sorry. He's one of the highest paid corners in the league for a reason. Coming into this year, you went and signed Byron Jones, UConn. Shout out UConn to make him one of the highest paid corners in the league. And both of those guys have been playing very good football. Xavier Howard turning that ball over. I definitely think he should get more love. It's mustache. Time for me to get a shape up. But yeah, definitely should be getting more love, man. I agree with you there. Definitely having an all-pro year as well. All right, boom. All right, so I'm going to take one more question. Ooh, I'll probably take 2 more because this is a good one. Combinary Sports? What the hell does that mean? Combinary Sports. Best running back in the league. Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is the best running back in the league right now. You got Cook, you got Kamara, you got Derrick Henry. You got some good backs in the league right now, but I will put Dalvin Cook at number 1 right now. Yeah, he not only affects the run game as well as he does, but also in the pass game, he affects. And we got 2 good receivers out there with Jefferson, who's an outstanding rookie, and Thielen, who's been very, very good for a long time. Great weapon, especially for a quarterback like Cousins. Cousins is playing good this year too. Decent, especially in the 4th quarter though, playing very, very well. All All right. I feel like somebody throw one more in there that catch my eye. Oh, this is another shout out one more top five. Tom _ Austin. I don't know if I. Oh hell no! I don't even know why I clicked on this. Chiefs, Packers, Steelers, Seahawks, Browns. I mean, I guess I said you are what your record are. So what your record is. I'm sorry. So but nah, cuzzy. You got last one. Hamilton 1787. Jefferson was it still in the draft? I agree. And this is no knock on Ruggs, but in a draft like this, there's no way, in my opinion, Ruggs should have been the first receiver off the board. I think he was the first receiver off the board. But you got Judy, you got Jefferson, you got who else is bought? CeeDee Lamb. Like I was high on T. Higgins. But those four, from my experience, those super fast guys, man, they rarely turn out to be very, very good NFL receivers. But the Raiders have always been that. They draft speed. So we'll see how he turns out. I think he's a very good player. But Jefferson, I mean, he plays the game like a savvy veteran. Really love his game. Definitely one of the steals in the draft. But yeah. Hey, that's it, man. Appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. Rocking with us. Like I said, co-host was out this week. He's on vacay. We'll be back for Overreaction Monday. Also, next week, we'll have Renee Montgomery. She just launched the podcast as well. My former, classmate at UConn, done some great things in the WNBA. Actually set out this year to do a lot of things, more important in sports. And we're going to talk all about that. It's going to be our first female guest too. So it'll be the Man to Woman pod next week. But hopefully y'all tune in, man. Like, subscribe, leave reviews, comments, all that. Definitely looking for them, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Love. I'm out. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Van, you're right. It does. You're right. You're right. The all caps does catch your attention. But I think I'm going to penalize your ass next time. Watch some tape. You trying to watch some tape, man? I might have to do that. That might be on my Everything DB channel. I'm going to start doing that with y'all, man. Come on here. Matter of fact, for people who still on here real quick. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me try to do something real quick. Let me see if I can share my screen. This a little Tone. You could cut this out of the audio pod, but we're gonna watch a little film. I hope the NFL don't come after me. But what do we want to watch? Let's go to week 12. All right. You know what? It was a play. What play was I watching earlier? So let me just go to a random play real quick. Matter of fact, let me see what y'all. Somebody tell me what play they want to see. Or what game? What play? Was it a touchdown? Was it something that gave up, like that was given up, it was scored on? Somebody tell me what they want to see. And then we're going to go to the coach's tape. Let's see a touchdown. Let's find a touchdown. Boom. 75-yard touchdown. Ty Hill. Right now. What we got? Mm-hmm. So now you got Ty Hill back here. Oh boy. Oh shit. As a DB right here where you see 10 right there. Matter of fact, it ain't even when you get to that point. I'm gonna tell you right now, because right now, Mahomes knows right now after this motion, I got one single high safety, right? So I'm gonna give y'all one simple rule. You hear Tony Romo say it all the time. When I have this single high safety, I don't care what defense you call, cover 3, cover 1, fire zone. I don't care what you call. I know that this guy, once he gets running down the field, is going to be one-on-one with this guy, period. That's what a single high safety tells me. And especially if I'm this, he's a rookie. That is Tyreek Hill, the cheetah over there. Get your ass over here on this hash, man. Antoine talked about it last episode. Get on that hash so that this corner feels you. Maybe you tell that corner, hey, you stay outside leverage. I got you inside. But once you're there with Ty Hill, that shit over with. Especially with that dude throwing the ball. Oh my God. Yeah, you don't want to see that, man. So that's a single high. I'm gonna show y'all one more play. Whew. That's a motherfucking throw right there. You can't do that. So one more time from the back end. So you saw what the safety started on this hash. You got to be over there, dude. And deep, you got to have depth. So now when the ball is caught, look how far away he is. Imagine if he was that much closer. However far that hash is from this hash, he'll be right here, either picking the ball off and make a play. And honestly, Mahomes wouldn't even be throwing it. Keep it real with you. But so that's a interception touchdown. Let me find Joe Hayden's touchdown. Intercepted by Joe Hayden. All right, so there's the other one. 3rd and 4, backup quarterback. Savvy veteran quarterback. Why won't this shit? Okay, here we go. Move. Watch him. So now as a quarterback, I do not have a single high. Now I have a split safety, right? If I'm split safety, that's when I'm hesitant to throw to the outside. Anything breaking out, because I don't know what this corner is going to be playing. I don't know if he's going to be playing the quarters. I don't know if he's going to be in the flat. I don't know if it's going to be some type of trap, because he has split safeties going back. He could be going cover 2. He could be going quarters, whatever he's going, right? He's going to a half, which lets Joe be free. I can trap this, right? I can jump 2. I'm not worried about my 1. Why am I not worried about my 1? There's only 2 receivers over here. If he comes out, I'm jumping that shit. It's 3rd and 4. I'm jumping that shit. I've been in the league 10, 11 years. I'm jumping that shit and my safety getting over the top. Same thing over here. Nelson doing the same thing down here. This safety getting over the top, and he ready to jump some shit down here. Now he don't break out, so he just sits, and that's a running back. So I'm not even looking at a running back. Great play by Joe. Picked it off and then cribbed that thing. Smoking Joe. Been in the league. See, that's all between the ears. That has nothing to do with obviously you got to be an athlete to make the play, catch the ball, but that's all between the ears as a DB. He had him. He was set up. He didn't have a chance from the jump. You got to go somewhere else with that ball when you see split safety. You got to hit him. Right? Cribby. But yeah, we out, man. And as DBs, if you're a real DB, you know, it's Oski. You get that pick. But yeah, we out.